Hello there, and welcome to today's Advective weather video. Today is mostly a hail day. We've already seen some baseball-sized hail in parts of western Texas, and this is likely to continue through the rest of this afternoon, with hail well over 1 inch in size expected to be present in multiple storms throughout the enhanced risk. And that risk today is enhanced level 3 out of 5 for all hazards, although only the hail is a significant hazard today, meaning tornado is not expected to be particularly strong, although that definitely does not mean a strong tornado. EF2 plus isn't possible. If the right conditions align, they'll be locally favourable for a strong tornado. However, that's currently not anticipated by the National Weather Service Storm Prediction Centre. Tomorrow we have a slight risk, level 2 out of 5. Lower parameters in all regards, should be a relatively low level event, particularly compared to what the region has seen in the last couple of years. But focusing on today, supercells through the afternoon hours likely to produce a few tornadoes through the enhanced risk and slight risk area. Very large hail has been ongoing and will continue. Damaging winds will become more widespread into the overnight hours. Here's that overall pattern. You can see that a sweeping cold front from the upper peninsula of Michigan all the way into South Texas is causing this severe weather. Several lows along that cold front. The one driving today's severe weather is in central Texas. You can see that farther north there is some substantial winter weather. We'll go into that later. Here's a close-up view of that enhanced risk today. You can see that it stretches from just east of Lawton through Ardmore, Paris, over to Texarkana, and includes all of the Dallas-Fort Worth metro area. Much larger slight risk from Del Rio on the Mexican border all the way across to Monroe, Louisiana, including Houston, and up to Fort Smith on the northern side. Level 2 out of 5 tornado risk, just a slight risk. It was briefly a 10% earlier today, but they've downgraded to 5% because the conditions don't seem as favourable for tornadoes anymore, having observed how the storms have been behaving. But that 5% is large and covers all of the Dallas-Fort Worth metro area, as well as far western Arkansas, Louisiana, and southeastern Oklahoma. One tornado has been observed, however it was very weak and only lasted 30 seconds. We may see some more tornadoes like this. A couple of them might be a bit stronger than that. Please pay attention and treat any tornado warning as seriously as you normally would. Onto the wind risk, it's much smaller, it's the smallest area today, for the focused bit at least. And that comes from the eastern part of Dallas-Fort Worth Metro through to Texarkana and into southeastern Oklahoma. Again, not a hatched risk, so gusts are likely to be up to 70 miles an hour, but shouldn't reach hurricane force in more than 1 or 2 isolated areas. The significant risk today is the hail. As mentioned, we've already seen baseball-sized hail with one storm, which was near Frederick, Oklahoma. These storms will become more widespread in the next several hours and could bring damaging hail with a threat to life and property across parts of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metro and southern Oklahoma, and continuing out eastwards, perhaps as far as Paris, Texas. Here's the HRRR from a couple of hours ago. You can see those storms firing and have already fired, and then they fairly quickly grow into a long line and then push southeastwards into the overnight hours. The main threat from them will be in the next several hours. As the evening goes on, it will transition mostly to a wind threat, winds of 60 to 70 miles an hour. Hail will become less widespread, and of course tornado threat will reduce, which is not to say tornado threat will be completely absent. There could be brief spin-up tornadoes into the overnight hours, which could be EF0, EF1, maybe EF2, can't be ruled out, but likely to be on the lower end with today's event. Going into tomorrow, a long slight risk from central Louisiana through to Tallahassee, Florida, including southern Mississippi, southern Alabama, and far southwest in Georgia. Tornado risk is low at this time, only 2%. It could be upgraded tomorrow. You want to check back in and see how that changes. 15% wind risk for all of that slight risk area, and that's the main driving force behind the slight risk. So some damaging winds possible, a few trees down, which of course are dangerous, and lives have already been lost this year due to trees coming down on people. So don't treat it like nothing's happening. you want to be aware and take the appropriate action when the storms occur. There is not expected to be a significant hail risk tomorrow. And here's the HRRR output. For tomorrow, we had to go slightly farther back to get a run that goes out far enough. You can see not too much going on. It might pep up a bit in the evening as it moves into the western Florida panhandle, but overall, not too significant tomorrow. Of course, we have a tornado watch in place and one tornado warning where that tornado report came in. When a tornado warning is issued for your location, seek shelter immediately and treat it as a life-threatening situation because tornadoes can and often do strengthen rapidly. Anywhere in the tornado watch, you should be expecting the possibility of a tornado, although large damaging hail is likely to be more prevalent today. You take similar precautions for both. If a storm producing large hail or damaging winds, with a tornado possible moving towards you, you seek shelter in an internal or built room of a sturdy building because large hail can punch through the roof of a weaker structure such as a mobile home and of course can come through car windshields. If you're caught in a hailstorm, try to cover your eyes in case of broken glass being thrown at you if gorilla hail hits your windshield. And moving on to the winter weather, currently we have an ongoing winter storm which is expected to pick up in the next few hours as this system moves farther east. Locally, we could exceed 1 inch per hour of snow at times, combined with strong and gusty winds, difficult travel conditions throughout the region. However, there's been a lot of snow so far this winter for this part of the United States, and I'm sure people are quite used to this. This isn't as bad as some of the snowstorms we've seen so far this winter, but it will still cause further disruption, and you shouldn't take it lightly. Take the necessary precautions, avoid travel if you can until the worst of the storm has passed, and if you have to go out, drive slowly to avoid a car crash, as that's where most fatalities happen. Looking at the weather for the US on a wider scale with the low-res NAM, you can see that snow will continue for the next 2 to 3 days across portions of the upper Midwest, that's Wisconsin and Michigan primarily, before moving into Canada. To the south of that, rain could cause some flash flooding issues with the thunderstorms, which is what we'll go on to in a short moment. But you can see that there are winter storm warnings from Nebraska up into Minnesota, Wisconsin, Upper Peninsula, Michigan, and those may become more widespread as we get closer to the peak of this winter storm. And once again, dangerous winter storm conditions expected in the next 12 to 36 hours, considerable travel problems likely, take action, be safe, keep doing what you've been doing, hopefully. After the storm, if you do lose power, be careful with those heat sources, don't let pets or children knock them over to avoid fire risk, and only keep them running when you're present to monitor them, even if you leave them on their own and no one touches them. Sometimes something goes wrong and they manage to start a fire. You need to be there to put that out before it gets worse. The last thing you want to be doing is being stuck outside your home, trapped by snow, with your house burning down. So do everything you can to avoid that scenario. If you're using a portable generator in the event of a power outage, make sure those fumes do not get inside your house. Keep them a safe distance away with any windows or doors shut. And once you're safe, check on your neighbours, make sure they're alright too. Going on to that aforementioned flash flooding risk, there is expected to be some localised flash flooding from the thunderstorms today and tomorrow. Slight risk 2 out of 4 today, marginal 1 out of 4 risk tomorrow. Possibility that could be upgraded tomorrow, but not particularly likely. It's your typical affair with widespread severe weather events. Localised flash flooding from widespread downpours, with the caveat today that that large hail, if it is able to accumulate to a substantial amount, it will enhance and extend the duration of any flooding when it melts. But of course that'll be highly localised because the hail focuses to a small area within the storm. This is likely to be worse in urban areas and will mostly affect people driving, but there's the possibility it could be more severe than that. As always, pay attention to local officials and take action if a flood warning is issued for your location. There aren't flood watches in effect as far as I'm aware for the slight risk today. There are still a couple of remaining watches out west, but those are gradually being reduced. There are some flood warnings in place, however, so please pay attention to those. And of course, if you are in a flood warning, you should get to higher ground and stay out of the areas subject to flooding. Do not drive into floodwater. It only takes a small amount to knock you off your feet, and a foot can carry an SUV away. When the road is flooded, turn around, don't drown. That saying has saved many lives. Hopefully you're not in a situation where it saves yours, but if you always follow it, you'll be as safe as you can be. Best thing to do is to stay informed by monitoring local radio, television, internet or social media for updates on flooding at your location. And that's all for today's video. We hope we've been helpful, and we hope you're staying safe wherever you are in the world. Have a good day. Thank you.